All right, and YouTube should be with us now too. Okay. All right, let's see about some morning news here. Oh my goodness gracious. Ay. I need a tea or something. I can already tell. I'm gonna need the tea. Doop 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 doop. Okay, you're Seattle. Presser should start momentarily. Obviously, it was last night. I haven't seen it yet, but oh, and I definitely wanted to check that out. Oh yeah. Exclusive from Catherine Herridge. Former former senior CIA operations officer James Erdman III blows the whistle on shadow government, urges senators to focus on Fauci and the money trail, alleges CIA effort to block his COVID-19 Senate testimony. Destruction of directed energy attack records, and spying on former DNI Tulsi Gabbard's investigators. Interesting. A lot to click through there. Excuse me again. Oh yeah, creepy Elon being creepy. Oh yeah, Jake Lang holding a march with yeah, it's got a name. It's definitely got a name. That's one thing you could name a march. Could, if your goal was to, I don't know, be a federal informant and just a general weirdo and freak. Yeah, he's still going. He's still doing it after getting arrested. What, like multiple times now? Okay. Okay, this one.
Well, what do you want money for? You want money for goods and services, right? You want money for obviously food, housing, transport, entertainment. Well, if that is so abundant that there's more, that the robots and AI are providing more goods and services than any human could possibly consume, what do you need money for in that case?
But you're creating.
Why? Well, you seem to be suggesting that we won't need money, but somehow I doubt that. I really do.
Creating these robots. Are you
I guess
then
between
selling
now and then you'll need money, sure.
are you selling these robots? Are you selling humanoid robots, or are you producing goods and services with the humanoid robots that you control? Like, are you the Levi Strauss?
I think I would probably be. It would be an exercise in vanity for me to think that I would be controlling the super genius AI that is vastly smarter than me. I think what we can...
Oh, it'll be controlling you. That's nice.
And should try to do is to make sure that the AI has good values, that it cares about humanity, and that it wants us to be happy and prosper. I think it probably will be. What my biological neural net tells me is that the most important thing for AI safety is to be maximally truth-seeking and curious. If that's the case, I think it will foster humanity.
I mean, Dr. Mengele was curious. I want to put that out there. There's been a lot of very curious people who, I don't know. I just don't know. Jeez. You sending more shit down our way or something, Canada? The heck? DNC reportedly used its headquarters as collateral for a $15 million loan. Amid mounting debt and fundraising struggles. It couldn't have happened to better people. Way to go, DNC. Way to go. DNI Palti was on a posting spree last night. Jeez. One of those mornings. Yeah, he was on a posting spree last night. Like posting up a bunch of seemingly random pages from the declassified files. I'm gonna get it at one of these one time. I don't know. Eventually, I'm gonna go get a tea. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna put Ms. Harridge and her guest on here for like 2 minutes at an interesting portion, so I can go find my tea, make it, and bring it down here because I need it now. I need that caffeine. There you go. Pardon me. Oh, you're talking about massaging the Daily Brief? Yeah, okay, we could definitely check that out. Yep. In opposition to the election integrity investigation. Okay, we're gonna start with that. That's what we're gonna start with.
Is there any scenario under which Anthony Fauci or some of his associates actually go to jail?
I think the scenario that's going to be most likely, in my opinion, you have to take a close look at contracts and money changing hands. Who gets the money and what happened just prior and just after they received the money? When I say contracts, whether it's grants, whether it's research money, whether there's memorandums of understanding between agencies, it's going to require people to take a very close look at the finances. The other piece, too, is I'm happy to see that Dr. Anthony Fauci will not be able to squirm out of questions in a public hearing. I think we can challenge the possibility of his pardon, but let's say you can't challenge the pardon. When he testifies, he can't take the fifth. He can't lie to Congress either. So he's got to answer the question. And there's only so many times you can say, well, I can't recall.
And this email in particular is going to what looks like a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Erdman and his team tackled the declassification of records, weaponization, as well as the politicization of U.S. intelligence.
With these election integrity investigations, was there any opposition or pushback from intelligence agencies?
For sure. You know, there were sensitive compartments that you need to read some of this stuff. NSA was very helpful. It was easy to work with NSA. It was like pulling teeth with spoons when it came to the CIA. In fact, I even know anecdotally, you know, Kurt Olson was appointed by the White House to lead the election security stuff, and there were people in the director's office bitching and moaning about having to turn over documents to Kurt Olson. Sorry, guys. He's appointed by the White House. I don't care if you like him. I don't care if you like his background. It's not an illegal order.
How does this happen under a Trump administration, that there's all this pushback to President Trump's directives?
Well, we haven't cleaned house. I mean, it sounds sort of draconian. Oh, we got to clean house. Well, we do. I mean, frankly, it's clear we do at this point. It should have been, Roger, sir, I'm on it. That is how this should have worked.
This email was released, and it talks about deliberately massaging the president's daily brief. As someone who's spent their career in the intelligence community, is that a big deal?
That's a huge deal. I saw an example of that with COVID. There's an email. I don't know if it'll ever get released, but it's like, hey, listen, we don't want to put that out because we might have to send it up to the president's daily brief, actual email. And I totally believe it as well because, frankly, no one wants to touch when Trump was in office, there was a hesitancy to go up against China. And I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did. I don't know why on God's green earth we'd be afraid to give our president truthful information, but it was always toning things down.
These records got a lot of attention. They were instant messages sent by a senior FBI official, Nikki Flores, and she talks about running a shadow government across the FBI at this point. Is there a shadow government?
I don't know if people say I'm part of the, wearing their shadow government T-shirts in the building where they're like, I'm part of the shadow government. But there's certainly people who believe that they are the adults in the room and they're here to make sure that, the political leaders that are in charge, we can't let them do anything too crazy. We're here to make sure we temper their worst
tendencies.
Thank you. I think that in effect, what you have are people who act as a shadow government, whether they know they're doing it or not.
Also in this instant message, it says that all election-related IIRs, these are intelligence reports, must come through FBI headquarters. Does this show that there was an effort to keep all of this election information on a close hold so that they could control it?
Yeah, of course. In my opinion, that's exactly what that means. If they're trying to get a handle on every single report that comes in and centrally locate it, okay, there might be some reason why you want to do that, but it sure doesn't look good. Not if you're over there also saying, hey, man, I'm part of the shadow government.
Are you familiar with the whistleblower complaint that was lodged about the suppression of intelligence about China's election activities in 2020?
Yes, I'm aware of it.
What can you share with us?
I don't want to go too much into that specific whistleblower complaint, but I will say that I have spoken to many people who are involved in the COVID origins analysis, people who were both on the operational side and the analytical side. And that is 100% believable because the same sort of things are happening in other topics that touch on China. So yeah, we had whistleblowers say, yeah, they did not want to harm China.
What explains the reluctance of the U.S. intelligence community to present evidence that is fact-based and credible about the threat from the Chinese Communist Party?
They're worried that, President Trump might do something crazy that upsets, what we have decided is how the world should work. And frankly, we got globalists working inside the IC. And last I checked, we work for America. We're not here to ensure that NATO gets their funding or the UN is supported or the WHO can help us with our pandemic response. There are quite a few people who are more than willing to say, hey, listen, this globalist thing is a good thing. So you had that. I think there was probably, based on what we're seeing with regard to former President Biden's family, there were a whole lot of ties to China.
You testified that when DNI Gabbard's investigative team was shut down, that the CIA took control of about 40 boxes of files about MK Ultra and the JFK assassination. What happened exactly?
First of all, there was no raid. There were documents in a facility, and DIG personnel had access to the room where the documents were. Once the DIG was shut down, that access to that room ended. We no longer had that. Now, there were still some documents in a safe with the DIG that I hope that Acting Director Pulte gets out the door.
Why is control of the MK Ultra files and the JFK assassination files seem so important to the CIA?
I think particularly
Because they're gay.
with MK Ultra.
Gay and the CIA is gay.
We'll start with that. It sure looks like they did some really naughty things, and they don't want to be embarrassed. I'm of the opinion at this point, especially with JFK.
Yeah, like I said, they're gay. They did gay things, and they don't want everyone to know that they did gay things.
And MK Ultra, put all those documents out. Let those people
So they're staying in the closet.
who have been following this issue, civilians who have been following this issue for decades, they're the ones who are going to pull the little nuggets out of that.
Did the CIA fully cooperate with DNI Gabbard's
Nuggets?
investigations?
No, not at all. And here's, in my opinion, this is how they operate. They're the adult in the room. They say, hey, listen, you know, we've got these concerns, and they'll bring up every bureaucratic reason why we need to slow roll and just double check everything, dot I's, cross T's. Again, there's good reasons to dot I's and cross T's, but it's bureaucratic guerrilla warfare. So that's how it starts. Once they start into that, they're looking for anything that goes wrong so that they can say, oh, I don't know, something's going wrong over here.
Do you stand by your
Oh, they like to make things go wrong. What else we got? Havana syndrome cover up worse than COVID-19. Huh? How could that be?
working for the Director of National Intelligence told
I mean, like, what?
Gabbard, you ran multiple investigations. Of all the investigations, was your work into directed energy weapons the most sensitive, where you met the most resistance?
Yes. Yes. 100% yes. There was certainly resistance in other ways on the COVID investigation. UAP, given the scoping of what we did, maybe it's just there wasn't an opportunity for more resistance than what we got. But by far, our Havana syndrome investigation received the most resistance.
And resistance from which agency?
The CIA.
What explained it?
Well, people in positions of power at the CIA who are on the 7th floor, they didn't want this stuff coming out because they were part of the team that was involved in these earlier products that came out that were whitewashes.
Has there been any consequence for the top CIA analyst who oversaw the flawed reports into COVID-19 origins and directed energy attacks, also known as Havana syndrome?
There is no accountability. In the case of COVID, seniors involved in that have happily retired, or in some cases have been promoted to SIS. In the case of AHI, the individuals involved in that are still happily employed, despite what looks to be, in fact, Havana syndrome looks worse than COVID in terms of the kind of activity that occurred. And again, it's my opinion. There was a cover-up there that was bigger than COVID.
Did it bother you personally as someone who has worked in the military, the State Department, and the CIA?
Yeah, it became clear to me that this problem was actually worse when it comes to a cover-up. There are real people who have been harmed from Department of War, from the intelligence community, from Department of State, civilians. And by the way, it's also a national security threat. Like it or not, if you can shoot a ray gun at a distance without anybody knowing and you can kill somebody, that means our president is in danger, our vice president is in danger, elected officials are in danger, people that the other side doesn't like, they're all in danger. And if we don't treat it like a national security threat, if we bury it in the sand, we're actually not, we're doing exactly the opposite of our job.
Putting the investigation to one side, is it your personal belief that a foreign adversary and a novel weapon are responsible?
I think that we'd be foolish not to consider the possibility that a foreign adversary is involved, and we'd be foolish not to consider that possibility.
Did your investigation uncover credible evidence that records about directed energy attacks were destroyed at the CIA?
Yes. And the individual respond, and I can't go into too much detail other than to say that information was given to the CIA to take action. It was passed from the principal deputy director's office over to the deputy director's office, as I understand it, and nothing has happened. The individual responsible for destroying those records still works at the Counterintelligence Mission Center.
Can you tell us more about the records that were destroyed?
I can't say what records were destroyed. I do know that those records were being destroyed according to a credible first-hand whistleblower.
Were the records destroyed after it became known that DNI Gabbard's team was investigating directed energy attacks?
If you decide that you want to start destroying documents after you realize that there's an investigation into the thing you were involved in, that points towards guilt, in my opinion. Yes, it was after Director Gabbard started working this issue. They found out about it because, well, they were monitoring our communications and monitoring our whistleblowers. So, yeah, I think they got nervous. They said it would better start getting rid of some evidence.
Well, just to be clear, the destruction of federal records is a criminal offense.
Oh, it's a criminal offense.
And you're saying you shared this with the CIA to take action
Yes.
against this individual?
Yes.
And you're not aware that anything's happened?
As far as I know, the individual is still working at the Counterintelligence Mission Center.
Did the CIA fully support the acquisition of what was suspected to be a directed energy weapon by Homeland Security Investigations and the Defense Department?
I can't speak on that issue in any kind of detail, but I think it's very, very
say that
important
one again. Repeat question, please.
that the
Government.
I can't speak.
To be a directed energy weapon and is a criminal offense.
Oh, it's a criminal offense.
And you're saying you shared this with the CIA to take action
Yes.
against this individual?
Yes.
And you're not aware that anything's happened?
As far as I know, the individual is still working at the Counterintelligence Mission Center.
Did the CIA fully support the acquisition of what was suspected to be a directed energy weapon by Homeland Security Investigations and the Defense Department?
I can't speak on that issue in any kind of detail, but I think it's very, very important that the government declassify all information related to that acquisition. It's already in public press. I think it's important to have a full public hearing on things that are harming not just, intelligence officers, but Department of War, military personnel, civilians. So I sincerely hope that part of the declassification efforts that go forward address all aspects of what has come out in public reporting.
What did it take for DNI Gabbard to recall these two intelligence assessments by the Biden administration about directed energy attacks that concluded it was very unlikely a foreign adversary and a novel weapon were responsible?
It took her to the very end of her time as DNI, which should tell you a lot about how much work had to go into just getting those through the front door. And also keeping in mind that there's a whole written product that still has not been declassified. There was a great deal of resistance. I don't care what people have said in public hearings in front of the Senate and Congress. She had to work very hard to get just those two simple retractions out the door. And it should not have been like that. It should have happened right away. It could have happened last fall.
Last fall?
Last fall. I believe it could have happened last fall.
Which agency was pushing back the hardest?
CIA.
Why?
In my personal opinion, I think we have some analysts that need to be fired over at the CIA over the Havana Syndrome issue. They actively covered up this issue and in the process harmed a lot of good people. So I think there was a lot to lose.
I've been doing reporting on this for over a year as an independent journalist, and one of the things I hear consistently from U.S. government personnel who are affected by directed energy attacks is that they believe that there is an insider threat. Did your team investigate the possibility that there is an insider threat?
There are insider threats that are an issue in the U.S. government, and we need to take it very, very seriously.
Is that limited to directed energy attacks, or is it broader than that?
Oh, it's broader than that. In fact, the one surprising thing that came out of all the investigations, there is a counterintelligence issue that I think has been left unaddressed in a number of the investigations that we have to take a look at.
Did you lead the investigation into UAPs?
I did, and actually, that's the one I was. I'll say I was happiest with the outcome of that. I wish I could talk in more detail about what the findings were. It's up to the principal deputy director, Aaron Lucas, to make sure that information gets out to the public. But here's what I will say about it. Unless someone shows you firsthand evidence of an alien, unless someone shows you firsthand evidence of an item that is being, whatever it is, reverse engineered, or unless people come forward and say, here's the evidence that this is the crash retrieval program, you should maintain a healthy degree of skepticism. There are real national security incidents that have occurred from they've been reported by credible people. And I tend to believe fighter pilots and submariners that have a lot on the line to come forward and say things. I tend to believe them. If they're coming forward and saying something, you should believe them. But the problem is, those are national security threats. I think we should define them as national security threats, treat them as that, conduct the investigation, but be very cautious about what is being released publicly about UFOs.
Why cautious?
Because there's a whole crap ton of disinformation out there and lies, and there's grift.
For a reason.
We have to be very, very careful.
Do you believe that there are more UAP records that have yet to be released?
Of course, of course. You know, given, and I'll say, in CIA's defense on this issue, you know, we really didn't ask for a ton from them. There's a couple things we would have liked to have gotten from them, but I can't say that the resistance on that issue really was huge from CIA on that issue. But certainly, given the scope of our investigation, yes, for sure, there's more work that can be done. What I appreciate about what we were tasked to do, we quickly discovered that given the personnel that we had, given the resources, and given what we discovered just as we started the investigation, we had a counterintelligence issue that needed to be clearly defined so that anybody who picks up the baton going forward can focus on the real national security threats that have to be investigated.
Did you come away from the UAP investigation believing that there are communities, civilizations, life forms outside the Earth?
No, not from the investigation. Personally, I want to believe that. I would like to believe that, but no, from the investigation, I did not come away believing that there are UFOs.
So what are you doing now?
I think a lot of people who leave government service and want to jump into something else, they have the same problem. You join government service because you're patriotic, or you want a mission, or you want to jump out of planes and kill people for a living. Who knows? Whatever it is, you want to be part of something bigger. You want to be part of the military. And so when you leave and you hear people talking about expense reports and financial audits and everything else and making money so a product gets sold, it's hard. So I decided I'm going to stay in the nonprofit space. And to my benefit, I actually co-founded the nonprofit I'm now involving myself with. Feds for Freedom is an organization.
I'm going to get to more news, so we'll keep going, but that was an interesting one. Well, I can't wait for the Fauci testimony this week. It's coming, right? Supposed to be. All right, what the hell happened in Seattle last night?
We are almost 5 hours into this. And I'm not mad at you. I am mad at the dignitaries that are holding up a press conference for the public to get information about a mass shooting outside of the space center. It is outrageous that we are being told to wait for dignitaries.
So
what I'll do is I'll go back here and we'll get everybody down here. We'll get somebody to talk to you guys. I mean, I do understand, like I said, I do understand. You guys have been out for a while. I've been out for a long time.
It's not us, it's the public that needs to know.
Get the information to everybody. Okay? All right.
Do we have a timeline on when these?
Gotta wait for the dignitaries. Gotta wait to brief all the dignitaries, all the Dems. You know, give them the party line on whatever garbage happened here.
Supposed dignitaries are supposed to be here.
Let's just, what I'll do is let's just get who's here. Let's get them down here.
That's
a great idea.
And then what we'll do is.
What a train wreck. All right, so what happened? This is reportedly one of the men shot and killed in the Seattle Center shooting. Sources say this was targeted and potentially gang related. You don't say. Huh. One of the alleged shooters. Okay, that is yeah. Okay then. Media waiting to be turned scraps. All right, let's go over here. Good morning, Steph. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, lots to look at. Cool. Let's see. Doobie doop doop doop. Doobie doop doop doop. We'll go. Okay, yesterday. Today. Oh yeah, Trump's meeting Netanyahu at the White House today. Today? Oh, and attending the funeral of Lindsey Graham. Yep. We'll see what happens. Zelensky to meet Trump at the White House next week. Also interesting.
Hey, it's Ken Martin.
The DNC in utter shambles, as we covered earlier. They're what was it? They're like throwing their headquarters down as collateral, basically, because they're so broke. I think was it.
I want to tell you about the People's Cabinet that the DNC is launching today. I have been traveling across the country.
Oh yeah, what can you tell me there, my friend?
Stop since I started this job, and what I hear over and over is this: Americans want us to fight back against Trump's lies and offer a better alternative. Trump has stacked his cabinet with out-of-touch billionaires who are causing chaos and
out-of-touch billionaires? You would never associate with those, right?
hurting working people. That's why we are launching the People's Cabinet. It will be made up of experts, leaders, and everyday Americans who will share reliable and accurate information that you can use to fight back. Stay tuned for more. Hey, it's Ken.
Ken Martin. They find the best people, don't they? I don't know where they find them, but they find them. Speaking of best people, oh joy, is Hakeem Jeffries.
The Democratic Party is not a cult of personality. We're a coalition of public servants. Our diversity of thought, perspective, and life experience, like what Bob brings to the table, is a strength, not a weakness. We are one big tent united by a shared commitment to fighting for an affordable America. The Democratic Party is not.
It's so awkward. It's so weird. Forced. Bizarre. Strange.
Ray Stevens is someone who can quote.
Democrats are at war with themselves in Michigan.
Get things done.
Oh, look who it is. The hag herself. Michigan Senate primary. Whitmer endorsing Haley Stevens. Who dis?
Ray Stevens is someone who can, quote, get things done, saying the state needs her now more than ever.
Yeah, okay.
Stevens is facing off against progressive candidate Abdul El-Sayed, the race itself revealing yet another deep split within the party about its future. Democrats are trying to hold on to the seat, of course, currently held by retirees.
She literally looks like a witch. Like, she looks like straight out of, like, I don't know, like some kid's book about a witch.
Senator Gary Peters.
Like, that's what I imagine the witch would look like.
Whoever wins this primary will face the presumptive Republican nominee Mike Rogers in the November general election. Joining me now, Emily Lawler, politics editor for the Detroit Free Press. Good to have you with us. So we're just over a week out here. Can you set the stage of us who are not there in this state? Set the stage for us about a race getting so much national attention. How is it playing, though, in Michigan, where the choice is actually going to be made?
Well, if you were here in Michigan, I think the first thing you'd notice is that the airwaves are absolutely thrilled by the attention this race is getting. We see a lot of pro-Haley Stevens ads, some from her, some from groups connected to AIPAC, some from outside spending that's a little bit murkier. And then Abdul El-Sayed is really blanketing the internet. You can't, scroll your Instagram feed or go on Facebook without getting some positive advertisements from him as well.
I would imagine that also comes from, having grown up with family in New Hampshire, it also must come with the we cannot wait for this to be over element of it as well, thanks to all of those ads. When we look at the endorsements, so I mentioned Governor Whitmer, of course. El-Sayed is really racking up a number of key endorsements from progressive. You've got Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. For Congresswoman Stevens, it's not just the governor.
What manner of dress is this?
It's, Chuck Schumer, Gary Peters. Do any of these endorsements, though, really tend to move Michigan voters?
I think it's an open question. Some endorsements certainly come with a lot of political capital. I would say Gretchen Whitmer is a prime example of that. Definitely a nice feather to have in your hat.
Literally everybody hates her guts. That's ridiculous, ma'am. No one likes her.
I don't know if it was strategic to keep it for this point in the cycle, but I think it was, a time when it's helpful to have some momentum. And then, people like Bernie Sanders can mobilize, a national movement behind you. And I really think that the nation is sort of focusing on this race as that sort of tension between the more established and the more progressive candidates.
So when we look at that tension, right, the message from Democrats has been, hey, we have to hold on to this Senate seat. When you have that kind of tension, is it your sense that there is that much of a divide among voters in the state, or is it simply that these candidates are showcasing a divide that perhaps isn't as widespread among voters?
I do think that there's a divide among voters here. Obviously Michigan was a Democratic state in 2020 and went back to the Trump column in 2024. I think that a lot of Democrats were really upset about that. And the party really didn't walk back through, what went wrong, what could have gone differently, what
they're busy being ass-mad morons.
Kind of candidates might have appealed here. I think there was just sort of some forensic analysis that at least didn't get aired.
Oh, there's going to be a whole lot more of that coming your way. You wait. Rand Paul says, my investigation uncovered that Anthony Fauci kept a diary. Tony's diary. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. What he wrote privately and what he told the country are two different stories. Today I'm releasing his entries from December 2019 through December 2022. Interesting. During his time as NIDE director, Fauci took meticulous notes about his work Made note of conversations, decisions, and his thoughts about actions taken by politicians and other officials. His own historical record containing almost daily entries. Later in the pandemic, he gloried in the positive attention he was receiving from legacy media and demonized those who question his official narrative. Many entries in Fauci's daily historical account completely undermine the official narrative that Fauci and other public health officials espoused. First alarm went straight to Fauci. Excuse me. Let's see here. Really tiny. Oh, Farrar. Jeremy Farrar patched him into a call with Christian Anderson. Eddie Holmes, already in the loop. They're not trading internet rumors. They were staring at the Furin cleavage site. Oh. Discussing deliberate insertion. And weighing whether the virus had escaped from a lab. Before most Americans knew that there was an origins debate at all, the government's top infectious disease official was already confronting the lab scenario. Interesting. After the January 31st warning. Excuse me. Fauci proposed a larger expert group called HHS officials, consulted Alex Azar, brought in Francis Collins. Government then split the work into two tracks, security side review and an international scientific track, which was the part led by Fauci. Fauci was not on the edge of the origins inquiry, which he likes to say. He was helping design it from the first night. I'm not surprised by any of this. I mean, this is all known, I think, at this point. COVID diaries reveal characteristic obsession with fame. Oh yeah, that's right. Excuse me again. Come on, caffeine, do your job. AG Todd Blanche confirms that Illinois is hereby banned from giving discounted in-state tuition to illegal aliens.
Successfully challenged in Texas, Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Nebraska. The DOJ has essentially won this battle. It is still pending challenges in Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, Virginia, California, New Jersey, Kansas, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Maryland. And in Maryland, the Associate Attorney General on the DOJ's legal challenges against that state and others. Listen.
In Maryland, though, I will point out that one difference is that we know in Maryland how much money is being spent on in-state tuition for illegal aliens. And so in Maryland, we know that in the last school year alone, $9 million of Maryland taxpayer money was spent to subsidize in-state tuition for illegal aliens.
$9 million will buy a lot of pencils. Final thoughts.
You know, Campus Reform just reported that Florida is now banning illegal immigrant students at state colleges, as well as 3 other states, including Georgia and South Carolina. I think states need to look to that for the modeling for this way forward. We cannot have tuition be $100,000 a year at a lot of colleges and then tell working class Americans they also have to subsidize people who have come here illegally.
Zachary Marshall. Zachary.
Okay. An Appropriations Committee member confirms Senate GOP pushing to pass the SAVE Act on or in reconciliation.
We know President Trump wants it very badly. Here's Caroline Levitt on the president losing or gaining in frustration.
Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. Is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as possible by the August recess. He knows that's what the American people want to see passed.
The House attached it to the National Defense Authorization Act. Are you hopeful, Senator?
Yeah, I am, and we're working hard. I'm a co-sponsor on the Save America Act. We're trying every option to get it passed. We're going to continue to do that. I'm hopeful that, as we continue to work it, any of these options, whether it's through reconciliation or something else, we can get it done. We need to keep working on it and keep pressure on the Democrats. This is an 80% issue. And so this is an argument that works in our favor. We need to keep making it. And yes, I think we have to look at all options. And right now we're working at the possibility of doing something through reconciliation. The other key there is making sure that we address the mail-in voting. And there, the same standards should apply. You should have to provide ID and then request a ballot rather than just having them mailed out. And a lot of states do it that way already, which is the right way to do it.
Is it a mistake for Caroline? Contractor who worked on the Obama Presidential Center says a dispute over a $4 million payment tied
another one
to the project is causing his company to suspend its operations and lay off union workers. Adamson Plumbing owner Mike Owen tells Fox Digital
the same one.
He's filing a more than $1.7 million mechanics lien against the property. Contractor who worked on
that is so messed up. Yep, filing nearly $1 million in unpaid claims.
President Trump will leave the White House today. He will head to Michigan, and that is where early voting is already underway. Tonight, there will be a debate between some of the Democratic candidates for Senate, including these two you see on screen, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed and Representative Haley Stevens. With less than 100 days until the midterms, there's a lot of questions over the future of the Democratic Party and some new controversy within. A new report detailing how Chair Ken Martin reportedly threw his phone at the desk of a junior aide while berating them. The New York Times writing, quote, that the phone tossing incident resulted in a formal complaint to the DNC's Human Resources Department. The fallout from the phone throwing episode was described by half a dozen people familiar with the incident. Mr. Martin later met with DNC Human Resources officials about his behavior. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries addressed that report yesterday.
Yes, the chairman has my full support. What we've seen over the last 18-plus months is that Democrats have won every single meaningful election up and down the ballot across the country during that period of time. And we look forward to our continued partnership.
One of the co-chairs of the Democratic Socialists of America joined Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream, who asked if established Democrats should be worried about DSA plans for their party.
Oh, boy. Oh my goodness, that could not be more on brand.
Establishment Democrats should be worried about the voters and about what the voters think and about what the constituency thinks. And right now they have not been delivering, and our candidates are and have been, and it's resonating with voters.
And Romer went on to explain to Shannon Bream some of the other arguments that the DSA is trying to make, and changes like expanding Congress, getting rid of the Senate, getting rid of the presidency and the Supreme Court as we know it, and abolishing prisons, and as a future long-term plan, even opening up the border.
Wow. Sure, that'll all go great.
they are now out of a job. Their firings, which they were informed about just yesterday, are part of an effort ushered in by the new acting director of National Intelligence, Bill Pulte. An intelligence official who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the potential for reprisal told MS Now these officials are being dismissed because leadership believes that they have withheld intelligence. That allegation, one former official refers to as, quote, absurd. It comes as former special counsel Jack Smith, they are now out of a job.
Okay. Doop, 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 doop. All right. Lawsuit asks absentee ballots that don't arrive by election to be replaced. Where it is. Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Okay, U.S. pauses strikes in Iran.
The Iranian regime is isolated, economically devastated, militarily devastated. Inflation is spiking. The currency is tanking. Foreign currency reserves are gone. And we're starting to see the Iranian government even not be able to pay its own workers and even its own military.
Axios reports that the top U.S. military commander in the Middle East, Admiral Brad Cooper, recommended stopping the bombing campaign around the Strait of Hormuz because it has reached the limit of its effectiveness, according to two sources with knowledge of his position. Now, despite the pause in military action, countries across the region remain on high alert.
The Iranian regime is isolated, economically devastated, militarily devastated.
Okay.
But the mayor.
Now we get to Seattle.
Katie Wilson, she's a Democratic socialist, and she faced a lot of backlash originally because she did not want these street surveillance cameras because she thought it was going to pose a risk for the illegal immigrants in the area. She did not want the cameras during the World Cup. How hard is it to solve a crime when you don't have the surveillance cameras? We have them all over New York City.
Yeah, and Ainsley, in today's day, these are key, whether it happens to be those video surveillance cameras, what happens to be the traffic cameras. We've talked about them a number of times during different investigations, and they've certainly been part of that whole kind of technical forensic analysis that needs to take place, and to bring these cases to very quick closure. I believe the police, the assistant police commissioner or the chief who was speaking last night was very clear in the fact that there were no cameras in the area. So to your point, is that they perhaps because of political reasons or personal privacy reasons, they didn't want to have these cameras around. Yeah. But from an investigative perspective, police perspective, I think they're invaluable.
Yeah, this being Seattle, I think we all know the reason. Zelensky to meet Britain and meet new Prime Minister Burnham.
Think that you can trust Donald Trump?
Well, I've had one phone call, and I always treat people as I find them, and it was a good exchange. I will judge as I find, and I found him to be really warm on Monday, but obviously, you know, we will continue to build the relationship as we go forward.
But as things stand, you're not sure at this stage that you can place your trust in him as a fellow leader.
It's a changing world, isn't it? And you just have to obviously call things as they develop. And I can't at any point say that I won't take a different opinion from him, that I will need to voice a different opinion that is right for Britain, and I will do that. My strength always is in remaining close to people, close to the public. That will not change because I'm Prime Minister.
So you'd be willing to call Donald Trump out if you think that's the right thing?
Of course. I mean, you've got to go into this. All leaders have to do that. You have to defend your own national interest before anything else. That's what you're required to do if you're to do this job properly. I will always put Britain's interest first.
Boy, is that what they call it when they dump in third world shit-brained idiots? take over countless areas of once great cities. Is that what they call that? Looking out for your country first, huh?
Think that you...
I don't know, maybe he'll change all that. Let's hope so. Somehow. Okay, OpenAI. Yeah, we saw that. We saw it a few days ago. Yep. Senate tees up a procedural vote on nomination of Jay Clayton to be DNI permanently. Ah, yes. Oh, that's so great. It's official. Springfield, Ohio will be specifically targeted by ICE. All them Haitians come to GTFO.
In promising news, ICE is set to ramp up
GTFO, STFU. Get the hell out of here. Just leave.
Deportations as soon as this week to find and arrest Haitian illegal aliens who have lost their temporary protective status. The Supreme Court's decision to allow Trump to end the Biden-era protection goes into effect tomorrow. Springfield, Ohio will be specifically targeted by ICE, which infamously houses a high number of TPS Haitians. All right. In promising news, ICE is set to ramp up deportation.
A whole metric shit ton of them. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Ilhan Omar's sister linked to central figures in Minnesota fraud scandal. You don't say. Records tie company founded by a squad member's sister to largest public theft scandal in Minnesota history. Currently use the address of a woman who was business partners with several major convicts in the Feeding Our Future scandal. Oh, that's interesting. Why would she use someone else's address? One, or might be wondering to yourself. Yep, Noor went on to found a group called Grit Partners Consulting. Oh, that's hilarious. She's a consultant. Her company has secured more than $20 million for funding for health initiatives. Consulted on projects backed by federal agencies such as, USAID, really. CDC. Wow. That's funny. Okay.
Year-old innocent bystander was shot and killed at a New York City bodega over the weekend.
Todd Pyro is here with those details. Hey, Todd.
Senseless tragedy here. Good morning to all three of you. We have learned the child was the son of a retired police sergeant who was in Connecticut at the time of the shooting. Officials say the boy simply biked to the bodega to buy a ball when he was hit in the crossfire of what they believe may have been a gang-related shooting. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch writing in part, quote, "No arrest can ever ease the pain of this unimaginable loss, but the NYPD will continue to do everything in our power to seek justice for Jacob." The victim's uncle telling the New York Post that he had seen his nephew playing just hours earlier, saying, quote, "He was adventurous. He was a free spirit. He was different. He lived on his own terms, and he was only 12. He was a good kid. He's going to be missed. Officials say 2 other people were shot but are expected to be okay. Meanwhile, the suspect has been arrested, and we now know he has a lengthy criminal history with at least half a dozen prior arrests dating all the way back to 1999. There he is, William Ferrer, now being charged on multiple counts, including second-degree murder, first-degree assault, and possession of a weapon in connection with the shooting. An investigation into the tragic incident remains ongoing. Back over to you.
Just absolutely heartbreaking. Thank you very much. Okay. Just imagine, 12-year-old kid goes to the neighborhood store to buy a ball, winds up being in the wrong place at the wrong time, winds up dead.
I know, borrowed his friend's bike.
The cover in the New York Post this morning, where is Mamdani? You know, a lot of people are ripping him, in particular the guy who runs the Bodega Association, and says, so he's got time, as you can see in that inset picture up at the top, to hang out with, I believe those are prisoners at Rikers Island watching a FIFA game, but he doesn't have time to address this particular situation. The mayor did put out a statement on X, but still, you know, it's all about priorities.
Okay. What is going on in Maine? Like, seriously, what now?
She said he was aiming for her and felt physically intimidated.
Right. He filed a complaint with HR, and he's someone who didn't run for governor, and he was an epic failure. He was backing Plattner up until all the revelations have been
Oh, what a genius.
Tracking them. The revelations have been pretty consistent with Graham Plattner, and he was staying by his side the whole time. So now he's the guy, and he's handpicked instead of picked by the people of Maine.
So he replaces Graham Plattner, and Ainsley, you touched on the fact that he might have a temper problem. Keep in mind, he did not go through a grueling primary because, obviously, somebody else won that. So Alexis McAdams was on the ground, and she talked over the weekend with some people up in Maine about that. And so let's listen to that.
A bad temper, is that going to be a problem for Jackson?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe he'll lose a couple of votes because he's passionate.
Are you worried that...
Passionate, huh?
Term.
And it comes as early in-person
Trump surging to Michigan today.
voting is underway in the battleground states primary with key governor and Senate races on that ballot.
Alex Hogan's live at the White House with the details. Hey, Alex.
Good morning, Steve, Brian, and Ainsley. So as you mentioned, President Trump will leave the White House today. He will head to Michigan, and that is where early voting is already underway. Tonight, there will be a debate between some of the Democratic candidates for Senate, including these two you see on screen, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed and Representative Haley Stevens. With less than 100 days until the midterms, there's a lot of questions over the future of the Democratic Party and some new controversy within. A new report detailing how Chair Ken Martin reportedly threw his phone at the desk of a junior aide while berating them. The New York Times writing, quote, that the phone tossing incident resulted in a formal complaint to the DNC's Human Resources Department. The fallout from the phone throwing episode was described by half a dozen people familiar with the incident. Mr. Martin later met with DNC Human Resources officials about his behavior. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries addressed that report yesterday.
Gonna have to have some HR training. Oh God, now Mamdani. 9/11.
Families of 9/11 victims are trying to keep Mayor Zohran Mamdani away from this year's 25th anniversary ceremony at Ground Zero.
Heck yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, no.
The families are calling out this mayor over his controversial record and his ties to Islamic extremists, like the imam who testified on behalf of the World Trade Center bombers.
Bye-bye.
He even defended a terrorist in a 2015 post, suggesting FBI surveillance is what pushed him towards al-Qaeda. It's part of a longer history of Mamdani downplaying 9/11 and making it about himself.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt. who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab. Growing up in the shadow of 9/11, I have known what it means to live with an undercurrent of suspicion. I will always remember the disdain I faced, the way my name could immediately become Muhammad.
What? I'm sorry, you mean it isn't? I thought you were Muhammad. What was your last name again?
Tommy, your take?
Mayor Mohammed Aziz?
The way that he...
Mohammed Mama? I don't know. I just see Muhammad.
He makes that about himself, as you read, is really quite something.
Where do these people even come from? I don't mean like, well, you know what I mean.
Democratic socialism being just a merger between the democratic political system and a socialist economic system run by workers. The Democratic Socialists of America was formed back in 1982 and remained a fringe organization really until Bernie Sanders brought it to the main stage in 2016. Even at that time, they had just about 5,000 members. But interest was sparked in young people. Then we saw DSA-based candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez start winning local and national elections. The organization's footprint expanded, pushing far-left proposals like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal. We see these policies most impactful in urban settings, which the DSA focuses on. Heavy tax burdens, regulations, they're implemented, radical bail reform, sparking fiscal and safety concerns. Unlike earlier years, there is now a political litmus test. The DSA formally adopted a program this month, so to receive an endorsement, a politician must support amnesty for illegals, abolishing the presidency, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and having these different bodies serve the House instead, also defunding the Department of War, even abolishing prisons. While some candidates on the left still try and keep the Democrat Socialist title a bit hazy, the DSA's national co-chair said on Fox News Sunday yesterday, establishment Democrats are in for a fight.
The establishment Democrats should be worried about the vote.
It's a bunch of dudes in their mom's basements, never been on a date, angry at life. A lot of performative activism.
Do you consider yourself a socialist?
Yes.
Some of their policies include abolishing ICE and the Senate.
I agree with abolishing ICE.
What kind of lumpy creature is this? What is it? What is it?
Abolishing ICE and the Senate.
I agree with abolishing ICE.
I don't think that the Senate is currently working or doing the work that we hope that they would do.
Do you think we should abolish ICE and end mass deportations?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
How do you guys feel about extending voting rights to all permanent residents, not only citizens, even restoring voting rights to people that are incarcerated?
Oh my God, you're right. Good vibes. That was definitely Black Pat. That was Black Pat. We found Black Pat. I didn't know Black Pat was a thing, but we found it.
The socialists.
Yes.
Some of their only citizens, even restoring voting rights to people that are incarcerated.
If you're a permanent resident, absolutely should have a say.
Yeah. If they're here illegally, isn't that a crime per se?
Not to me.
Who do you think socialism is appealing to? Like what group of people?
The people that are here looking for handouts.
I would say like liberal Democrats.
A bunch of college students. It's a bunch of dudes in their mom's basements, and, never been on a date and just angry at life and just a lot of performative activism.
There's new data that shows it's highly educated with moderate income. So do you think there's a certain reason why these people are being attracted to kind of socialism and DSA?
Yeah, because they're not depending on it.
Do you?
Oh, Black Pat. I always wondered if you existed. Now I know. Yeah, did you see her walking by there? Did you see her little bump showing? Did you see it? Uh-huh. Colombia's president-elect vows to break ties with Cuba and Nicaragua. when he takes office on August 7th. Ooh, so that's soon. He will close 15 consulates and 14 embassies. Wow. Just like that. Including missions in Algeria, Barbados, Ethiopia, Haiti. Noticing a pattern. Oh, he broke the pattern. Hungary. What? Senegal and South Africa. Yeah, Hungary? I don't know. I don't know what that one's about. They must have some bad blood or something. The U.S. has launched strikes on Iran for the past 3 nights, but the White House says military action is... has not launched strikes on Iran for the past 3 nights, but the White House says military action is still on the table.
For the past 3 nights, the United States has halted strikes against Iran, but the White House is making clear the military option remains on the table as the administration is exploring a variety of options moving forward with both diplomacy and intense economic pressure. The U.S. naval blockade does remain in effect, costing the regime hundreds of millions of...
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that way, but great point. Silver Laughing Fox in Rumble Chat. Hold on, I gotta pull that up because that is just such an excellent point. Here. So Steph was pointing out that Volodymyr Zelensky and Netanyahu are both scheduled for obviously very high-profile meetings with Trump at the White House tomorrow. I thought Netanyahu was today, but maybe I mixed up the... Yeah, well, whatever the case, either today or tomorrow. Right before, as Silver Laughing Fox pointed out, right before Fauci's hearing, right before his testimony. First he's had to give in, I don't even know how long. Okay, let's see. Back to Iran stuff.
Dollars per day.
The Iranian regime is isolated, economically devastated, militarily devastated. Inflation is spiking. The currency is tanking. Foreign currency reserves are gone. And we're starting to see the Iranian government even not be able to pay its own workers and even its own military.
Axios reports that the top U.S. military commander in the Middle East, Admiral Brad Cooper, recommended stopping the bombing campaign around the Strait of Hormuz because it has reached the limit of its effectiveness, according to 2 sources with knowledge of his position. Now, despite the pause in military action, countries across the region remain on high alert. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with Fox News over the weekend ahead of his trip to the United States, where he described what will happen if Iran attacks first.
If Iran attacks Israel, either directly or through proxies, either with ballistic missiles or UAVs or killer drones, it will make a terrible mistake because our response, Israel's response.
Oh, yeah, your response, huh?
Will be very, very forceful.
We're also tracking another interesting development in this conflict involving Ukraine. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, this weekend, Ukrainian forces struck Iranian vessels that were carrying military cargo between Russia and Iran in the Caspian Sea. The Iranians responded by saying the strikes cannot go unanswered. There are a lot of moving parts right now in the
weird
region, but there's also an ongoing U.S. military buildup to give President Trump a variety of options moving forward.
Interesting. That's like, yeah, big, possibly, very big. Controversial anti-Trump judge Boasberg keeps ruling against the president, but keeps getting overturned. Carry on. You do you, Boasberg. Long as you can, anyway. Don't think it's going to be too much longer at this rate. Trump pushes Senate to adopt House's budget resolution before August recess. Okay, yeah, they're supposed to depart on the 7th for recess. Supposed to not return until after Labor Day. Oh my god. Ay. Senator Kennedy calling out Thune for sucking and being a slow asshole.
Maybe take a few extra days. Look, I mean no disrespect. I love John Thune. He's my leader. He's got a big brain. He's better.
Big brain Thune? We're calling him a big brain now? I mean, this is just Kennedy's overly polite Southern affect. No, it's part of his shtick. I'll forgive him for it.
Looking than me, but I think he's just being too cautious. He wants to spend the rest of our time talking with Senator Schumer about shutting down government. And the Graham-Plattner wing of the party his party's not going to let Schumer agree with us. They already want to give Schumer a bathrobe, a popsicle, and an early bedtime and have him retire. I don't think Chuck can agree with us. I think he's going to shut down government.
I want to go back. You just said you wanted to move forward on what the House just started the process on. That would be a party line. That would be a party line vote. That would be Republicans jamming this thing through. And the SAVE Act, as you know, or even some version of it, is highly partisan, highly controversial. Bigger picture, isn't it going to hurt faith in our election process if a Republican-only policy to change how elections are run is rammed through 100 days?
Okay. There.
President Trump has promised.
Oh my goodness, that's loud. Okay, gonna go down and down. President Trump promising to make companies pay for data center energy costs.
Promising to make companies pay for data center energy costs with his ratepayer protection pledge.
The White House says this is about protecting them.
Curious to see how this will actually work in practice, in effect. Like, hopefully it'll end up working as intended, though.
Americans' wallets when it comes to data centers.
The president said nearly 200 stakeholders have signed the pledge, from utility companies to developers and 23 governors.
Google and Amazon already signed the pledge. So did Indiana Michigan Power. I&M says you've already seen 2 quarters of declining rates.
Through this, President Trump is calling on all leading U.S. hyperscalers and AI companies to not only build or buy all the energy for building and operating it, but also
they're going to have to. There's no way around it.
Paying for the full cost of the energy and the infrastructure, no matter what.
You can't shove all that cost off onto the American people. Sorry, you're going to be building these things and raking. I mean, they're effectively just big money printing machines at this point. You can afford to pay for the power, all the extra power that you're going to need to be able to produce. I think it's a reasonable ask. Whether it actually gets stuck to, I guess we'll see. I hope so, because it does need to be figured out. Like the power situation, if we are going to keep up with China, which I'm sorry, we need to. It's just this is the river we got to swim in. I'm sorry, but it is. And there's no sense in fighting that current. I'm sorry, I'm telling you, there's not. But if we don't, it's like China owns everything. They run everything up to and including worldwide surveillance, you name it. I mean, all the people whining about how these things are being built to, I don't know, collect all of your data. It's a complete and total misunderstanding of what these things do. I've said this a number of times before, but I'll say it again. People saying that are operating under a complete and total misunderstanding of what data centers are. They're basically just giant supercomputers. It is no longer, and has not been for a long time now, about storing data. It's not a giant hard drive just sitting there. We don't, and really have never needed that to store large amounts of data. Not at this scale. So I'm sorry to all the doomer wackos out there, but that's not what this is about. It's just not. It's not about watching everything you do. It's not about tracking your every move, although there are certainly companies that would like to make money doing that. The vast majority of all of this spending going into all these data centers is for enterprise use. It's all for businesses who run AI. That's it. It's not storing data. They're giant computers. They're giant cloud computers. Like literally giant, they're building sized fucking computers. They're used to store AI models. There's still storage involved, of course, but they're storing AI models, and all the power is going to run all the GPUs that will basically run them and serve them to the world. It's like that's like all these data centers are going to be needed to power the robotics revolution, all going to be run at least in large part to begin with over the cloud, and scattered smaller centers throughout the country and wherever it's needed, kind of local, small time, not like full-blown data centers, but like just little edge nodes. And it's all processing. It's all taking unprocessed stuff in, like whether it's camera from a robot's eyes, or like the automations I'm building to run, all the news stuff I'm building, all kinds of stuff I'm building. All that is going to be run. That's what all the data centers are for. Not for like a total mass surveillance system. Completely unnecessary, by the way. We already got that. UK has had that for I don't even know how long. Way before any of this was a thing. The people selling you that line are either lying to you deliberately, or they're just completely not informed. They have no clue what they're talking about. Now, if you want to argue that robotics and all that is a concern, okay, sure. It's got stuff that bothers me. Don't get me wrong, but like people are focusing on completely the wrong things, in my opinion, when it comes to all this stuff, and shooting themselves in the foot. By the way, I might add, because as I highlighted earlier, if we don't win the fucking race, guess who does? China. And guess who runs all that shit that you just said that you were fucking terrified of? Global mass surveillance, robot overlords, you name it. China will run that. Here, in our country. Like, completely. From the ground up. Top to bottom, bottom to top, the whole stack. All of it. All of it will operate outside our courts, because it's all based in a system that doesn't fucking give a shit about anything we do or anything we say in our court system. If God willing that even survives, like, wake the fuck up. This is the battle of our time right here. Unfortunately, it's for better or worse, it's the AI and tech battle. And if we lose to China, we're fucked. And if we can't make data centers and we can't make power, we lose the race. we're fucked. And China will just end up building all that shit anyway, running the whole fucking system, completely outside our legal protections. Flawed though they are, guarantee you they're better than China's. I mean, you want to make a difference with this stuff, you're going to probably be better off actually, I don't know, trying to swim in the river that you're given rather than fighting that fucking current, because you're not going to get anywhere. Long ago accepted this. I mean, you can sit there yelling at everybody from the sidelines about how we've got to tear everything down, or you can go out there and try to get a hand in building whatever's coming next. And hopefully it'll be us at the helm and not China. You know? Unfortunate in a lot of ways. A shitty situation to find ourselves in. And I wish we didn't have this battle in so many ways, but we do. We're going to have to figure out how to navigate the world to come here. Because if we don't, we're just going to get led around by a collar on our necks by Chinese people. So, pick your poison, guys. Mike Waltz announces multiple DOJ investigations have been launched into Deep State. Ooh, this sounds fun.
Going to pursue putting people in jail.
Well, we have a number of leak investigations going on. I'll defer that to the Department of Justice. But here's the point. The point is the U.S. military has conducted a phenomenally successful campaign. We have never, as you know, I'm a veteran by background. We have never maintained this kind of air superiority, sea superiority with unfettered access over Iran right now.
Mr. Ambassador, a lot of
C1 in Rumble Chat says, thank you, Pam. It's going to free up our energy. Talking about all the tech, AI revolution stuff, robotics. Yeah, I agree. That is one very possible future that may await us. But it's, again, like, it's going to take, like, good people getting off the sidelines and, you know, sucking it up, quit screeching about the sky falling, and actually get in there and try to hold the thing up, keep it from falling. You know, go get yourself in there and build the wonders you want to see. Like, I've talked about this a handful of times before, but it's another thing that puzzles me about all the screechers. Like, people on one hand will like tell you that all this stuff is like straight up demonic and evil, designed to control you, and you know, it's going to kill all of us, etc., etc., you know, so on and so forth. You know all the lines you hear, right? But on the other hand, they'll talk about how technology has been hidden from us, like futuristic technologies that we're on the verge of being able to could build right now. But, you know, the baddies are just preventing us from doing it, right? Like, I just don't know how people don't connect the two. Like, how do you think those are going to get built? Do you know how, like, scientific research of any kind gets done these days? I'll tell you where it gets done. It gets done in a fucking data center. That's where all scientific research takes place now, practically. Other than, you know, obviously, like, practical real world experiments and so on and so forth. But it's mostly just simulated in computing data centers, or, you know, chunky workstation computers. but mostly data centers. And that has been the case long before the modern AI revolution. This has been the case for probably well over a decade at this point. I'm no like super pro in the matter, but it's been a thing for a long time. Like that up to this point has been like the main use for like remote AI, or not AI, but like machine learning, cloud computing, like GPU processing, all that stuff is all for scientific computing. All those developments, treating cancer, treating diseases, genetic malformities, issues, all that stuff. Studying weather patterns, studying, I don't even know effing what. Like crop diseases, you know, all kinds of shit that is it's all just chucked into like simulations that are run on these, you know, these big data centers, some massive supercomputers basically. That's where all of those developments are going to come from, and that's all going to get like massively accelerated by the age of AI. You know, you see things like I think they both have something like this now, but OpenAI and I think Claude, I think both have like a science-based application where literally like anyone can go, possibly, if you're so inclined and dedicated enough, you can go in there and make wild discoveries. And I mean, it's almost like every other day now I hear about like these long, like multi-decade long-standing unsolved problems in mathematics that just get solved by these systems like that. Same is already happening in the world of medicine and other sciences, engineering too. Like, look at this is just nuts. Let me see if I can find these guys. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of the company, but they basically have a model that they have designed and trained to, I think this is it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Leap 71. Leap 71
is a real rocket engine designed algorithmically by AI, and it works on its very first test.
Like, where do you think the wonders of the future are going to fucking come from? All these people that bitch about how they've been hidden and locked away, and, you know, we're just, gosh darn it, if we could just get them, we'd be in such a great place. Yet at the same time bitching about the actual engine that makes them possible. It fucking blows my mind.
This engine was generated using an AI engineering model called Neuron, developed by Leap 71.
And again, don't get me wrong. I know there are issues that come with data centers, and certainly concerns with all kinds of related issues, but like, hello.
Which uses physics, thermodynamics, and
you don't just tear the fucking thing down because a problem like that exists. You figure out how to address the problem and move forward with all this stuff.
Manufacturing constraints to produce functional rocket designs. Instead of being drawn piece by human engineers, the AI computed the entire geometry as a single optimized structure prioritizing performance, heat flow, and structural integrity. The engine was then manufactured using industrial metal 3D printing, turning the AI-generated design into a physical object. From finalized specifications to a test-ready engine, the entire process took just 2 weeks. For comparison, developing a similar rocket engine using traditional engineering methods can take months or even years. It's strange. Organic shape isn't artistic, it's mathematical, because AI doesn't care how it looks. It only cares about what works.
I think it's gorgeous. I think it's it's like work of art. Beautiful looking. Weird and wonderful and fascinating. Just
cares about what works. And for the first time in history, machines aren't just helping engineers design the future. They're starting to design it themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just puzzles me, man. It does. And I hope people can, like, get a grip on themselves and figure it out. Because, again, if we don't, we're going to be eating from China's hand. So.
Outside a New
12-year-old boy murdered outside Bogota.
New York City bodega over the weekend, while also injuring 2 others. The boy killed was the son of a retired police sergeant. Officers say he biked to the bodega to buy a ball when he was hit in the crossfire of what they believe may have been a gang-related shooting. New York City Police Commissioner writing in part, quote, Jacob was an innocent bystander on his bike when he was taken from his family in an act of senseless gun violence. A 45-year-old male from the Bronx was apprehended outside of his home. No arrest can ever erase the pain of this unimaginable loss, but the NYPD will continue to do everything in our power to seek justice.
Jeez, man. A 45-year-old man with a slew of arrests dating back to 1999 has been charged with murder in the fatal shooting of the 12-year-old.
William, is there anything you want to say for yourself?
Yo, what's up, dog?
Is there...
That's it. Just...
William, is there anything you want to say for yourself?
Oh yeah, I saw this one in Seattle. Pretty wild. Off the Space Needle. Nut jobs. Yep, they jumped. Parachute action. Pretty cool. Don't splat. Whatever you do. Black American in Atlanta, Georgia is at Church's Chicken. Let's find out what happens.
Oh, my girl clowning bad. My girl fixing her own order. The fuck I am. All right.
With it. Does this bring your child to work today, or?
Wait, bitch, no. No, give me my
bitch, no.
Motherfucking shit. And I'm taking a fucking hit. You got me fucked up.
Got me fucked up, girl. Shit.
Girl. It ain't working. Got me fucked up.
Oh, she didn't work there. She just wanted some chicken.
If you listen to what this woman says, she says that she was told to wait, and then she starts cussing, and
so she steals the chicken.
She has a baby in her arms. So obviously this is a horrible example to set for a little kid. You can see he's still in diapers, so this kid is not going to have a bright future with this woman as his mom. You know, this is a wild reaction for just...
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure his dad will be there to... Oh, wait. Never mind.
Just being told to wait a second by an employee. I think anyone that was...
Sorry.
In this position probably would not have that same reaction unless you were maybe someone like this woman. Let's just take a look at the comments here. Why do they make us look bad? So this is good because this is likely another black person who doesn't want to be represented the same way that this woman is, and I wouldn't want to either if I was black. She's better than me. I would have got her sides too, so then we have somebody else saying that they're going to act the same way this woman does.
Yeah, insane. Oh, back to the AI talk. Where'd we go? Yeah, Silver Lining Fox says, well, there goes the engineering jobs, in reference to the rocket engine. I think it might seem like that at first, but I don't think that's how it'll play out in practice. I don't. I think it's basically just going to let us make a lot more cool stuff for a lot cheaper. Vigilator kind of hit on it a little bit there. Engineering jobs will not disappear. Yep, I spent 2 to 3 days to build some software that would take normally 2 to 3 weeks. But you're not replacing that human work. You're still there. Like, you're still the one generating the idea and guiding the process. You have the taste. The machine does not have taste. I can tell you that. Like, these things, as capable and incredible as they can be, they do not have human taste. Be able to say whether something is good or not good. Sometimes they can judge that, sure, just generally based on what they can infer about what humans generally think or might think. But a lot of times they just put out stuff that makes no effing actual practical sense, and you have to be there to say, like, hey, no, you shouldn't. Actually, that doesn't make sense. You should do it this way instead. Or maybe just try something different, because that ain't it. You still have to be there. Like, you still have to have the idea, the prime mover, right? To kind of spin the whole thing up. Be able to point it in the right direction and guide it along the process. And then when it's done, be able to know, like, okay, this is where we need to be. That's not going away. It's just gonna open the doors for more people to do that. For all the people that are already skilled at doing that to A, do it better, and B, do more of it, and thus do it cheaper, thus bringing down the cost of goods and services. Hopefully, ideally, we'll see. I don't think it's going to end up with people's jobs just straight up disappearing, though. Maybe some industries, sure. But engineering, I doubt. At least not for a while. Same for, I mean, software engineers, just engineering generally. Like, it's, I don't think it's going to disappear. It's just gonna be different. It's gonna change. Hopefully for the better in the end. Certainly enjoying the ride so far. I like being able to create software that I just simply could not create at all before, let alone do it in, you know, a tenth the time that it would have taken an actual software engineer. It's great. I love it. I can, like, imagine things and then make them happen on my computer. It's freaking awesome. Love it. Highly recommend giving it a try sometime, by the way. Can't tell. Like, it's a blast, man. Being able to, like, just describe an idea that you have and just have it start coming to life. Really something. Downtown LA March for the nationwide Day of Action Against ICE was paid and organized.
Hundreds
of course it was.
People marched through downtown Los Angeles today, joining a nationwide day of action calling for justice after 2 men were killed during separate ICE operations earlier this month. The march ended with a vigil at Olvera Street, where Eyewitness News reporter Abigail Velez shows us why dozens of empty coffins were carried through the heart of the city.
A funeral procession, not for one person, but for dozens.
I felt it was my duty in some way to carry this and, like, mourn the people who I've never known and who I never will know because of ICE.
Volunteers carrying cardboard coffins through downtown Los Angeles, each one representing a life organizers say was lost during ICE enforcement or while in immigration custody.
It's important for all of us as citizens to stand and speak and not allow that to be normalized.
The procession stretched from City Hall to Olvera Street, where hundreds gathered for a vigil despite temperatures climbing to near 90 degrees.
Not a lot will hold people back when it comes to advocating for justice.
The nationwide Day of Action Saturday was sparked by the deaths of Lorenzo Salgado Arajo, who was fatally shot during an ICE operation in Houston, and Johan Sebastian Guerrero, who was killed days later during a separate operation in Maine.
Our communities will never be the same. As we rebuild and as even though we're strong and we hold each other together, our communities are not the same, and we grieve that loss.
Registered nurses in Culver City also joined protests calling for accountability, as supporters earlier gathered outside a Pasadena Home Depot for a vigil honoring the 2 men.
These killings have affected all of us. It's created anger, outcry in our communities.
And And as event organizers clear out these coffins from Placita Olvera, they tell me that they plan to host more events like these in the future, as well as pushing for federal accountability and changes to immigration enforcement. Reporting in downtown Los Angeles, Abigail Velez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Yet again, these demonstrations in Los Angeles were fake, paid for, and organized. So you see these coffins here. These aren't some community-driven groups. This is big money that is funding these kind of demonstrations for the news cameras. So here you have all these coffins. Well, guess who paid for them? A NGO called Shirla. So this is the NGO here, and take a look. They were one of the main funders for this event in downtown Los Angeles. They're the ones who came with these cardboard coffins. And if we look down here, it looks like they even heavily promoted and live streamed the event that they paid for and organized. And they made 76 of these coffins. So just one more time, when we go back to these, 76 they had made. So these people that are holding these signs, they have no idea the money that is behind this thing. So here we have more information on Shirla. Democrats and George Soros have been caught funding these ICE riots many times in downtown Los Angeles. Here it is. So they did some research and found money about who pays for these demonstrations in LA. This has been going on for years. The main agency is the Coalition for Human Immigrant Rights. That's Shirla. And who do you think funds Shirla? Well, Gavin Newsom sends money to Shirla. Well, that would be Gavin Newsom who funnels money to Shirla. He funnels tens of millions of dollars to this NGO. And guess what? He gets that money back as campaign donations.
Oh. This is the loop. Shirla donates to Newsom's campaign. And
going on.
I get that campaign money. Shit, girl. 21-year-old. Oh, my thing go. Back here. And back here. 21-year-old man convicted in 2025 of trying to join ISIS and accused of ramming his vehicle into, oh yeah, the Berlin LGBTQ Pride Parade. Killed by police on Sunday. Way to go, Germany. Good fun. Is this footage of the Seattle shooting here?
Others hurt after a shooting at a festival in Seattle.
No. Aftermath. All right. Well, I suppose we're at the top of the hour here, my friends. Oh, I forgot to mention it, but it's that time of the month and we're brokey jokey, so if you want to help out, we could probably use it. I think we're like either like on the verge of overdrawn or like right there. So now would be a good time to help out. I'll paste it out there at the end of the month, and we had the web hosting and server costs coming up, so there is my YouTube. There we are. Cool. Yeah, please help out if you can. I would like to be able to keep doing this. You know, it'd be nice. So that is it for me, and I will be back with you guys tomorrow. I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning. Yep. Alrighty. I think Mr. Fedora's in.
Yep.
How you doing, sir?
Ready to go.
What's up, brother?
Well, I like the show today. Definitely on the data centers and that. It's we can't get by with. They're coming down the pike. That's just it. We got to do what we got to do with what we got.
Can't put that genie back in that bottle, man. Like Pandora's box has been opened. You got to learn how to deal with it.
Yeah,
people got to get that through their heads. Yeah.
Yeah, and more people are going to have to wake up to this behind.
Indeed.
For sure.
Indeed. Well, I'll let you get to it, man. Have a wonderful show.
Yep, have a great.
Go ahead. We're running over each other here.
Oh. Yeah, I'm ready. All right. Now, and you guys hope you had a wonderful weekend. Let me get the screen up here for sure.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, he must be like on a delay or something. It's like we're tapping on each other a little bit. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. tomorrow morning, bright and early. YouTube. I got work to do. I'm applying to Y Combinator today. Or trying to. I got stuff I got to do. I got to shoot a founder video and try to get the company off the ground. So I will see you guys. Bye.